to you, I'm going to tell. So the first topic of the day is magazine dreams. Let me make sure that I got everything all up to code. So Jonathan Majors just dropped his new movie just came out today. So it was that movie Magazine Dreams, where a bodybuilder who had, I guess, the dream of becoming world famous and whatnot. It's supposed to be a drama. There was a lot of buzz around it saying that this performance could have been something that could have been an Oscar worthy kind of a thing if it would have came out when it was originally planned to come out and whatnot. It could have been one of the movies that was picked for Best Picture, maybe not. But then when he had his controversies and everything, it was just a derailed. A lot of people in the comments, if you guys remember, were saying things like, well, we don't want to support anyone who's got like domestic violence or I'm sorry, I'll say DV so I don't get demonetized, but DV in their background. And people have to remember, I mean, that is a true statement, and I agree, but he was found guilty of the lesser charge. So, for example, he wasn't found guilty of DV. But he was responsible for the injury that he caused during that moment when he was trying to get away from her or shoving her in the car. People were saying that his defense was asinine because you went through the whole, I'm 100% innocent. I didn't do anything wrong at all. And I didn't do anything to her at all. But when it was proven that you caused that injury to her hand, you did do something. So he messed up his whole defense trying to claim the 100% innocent route. But what do you think? Before I go I'm going to go into the what I found online for as far as I'll say the coverage of it, the difference in the coverage of it. But what do you expect out of this? And you guys in the chat, if you have something to say about it, what do you think about I'll pose the question to my wife first. What do you think the difference in the coverage is going to be like based on like this outlet versus that outlet? What do you think? How do you predict people will talk about it or have been talking about it? What you've been seeing?
I don't know that it's going to get a lot of coverage at all.
Like the movie or like the scandal? Like, what do you think?
The movie.
The movie. What do you think about? What do you mean? All
right. Because they're still letting the scandal rule their feelings or like kind of control any of that.
Right.
So they'd rather talk about that than the movie.
Exactly. And the movie only made like, if I'm remembering correctly, I was watching on one of the outlets saying that and guys, because I haven't pulled it up, I forgot to check and I didn't put it into, but if you guys are watching, what did that movie make? Like, what was the box office? Or if you have time, or maybe I should look it up, the box office for that. I heard that domestically it only made like $1 million. Like it didn't make, it wasn't that expensive of a production, but in any way, shape, or form, at the caliber that Jonathan Majors was getting to for a film to debut at like what, $1 million. I mean, that movie hopefully would have only had cost $50,000 to make, but no, that's not the case. So I don't know if if there a magazine dream box office prediction is what I would Google. But while we're looking that up, here's some of the coverage that came across, and I'll pull it up real fast. Let me see if I can find it. The first set of, like, for example, here's what I was able to stumble upon. Like Charlamagne tha God from The Breakfast Club, when they were discussing the fact that the leaked audio that came out where Jonathan Majors straight up admitted that the word that he used was that I aggressed you. It was a secret recording that his ex-girlfriend had was I guess, I don't know if they were on the phone or if they were in person, but it was that we're having a conversation and he was like, yes, I aggressed you, and saying things like I've never done like this before, or so I don't know if that was a conversation where they were like one of their umpteenth fights or anything like that, but I'll go back again. It says Charlamagne tha God from The Breakfast Club. He said he says, why can't he still have a comeback around? Though everybody deserves redemption, the man is not perfect, nor is he ever claiming to be. I'm not reducing anybody to to their, what he said that says that worst moment, he said to their worst moment. I'm not going to reduce anybody to their worst moment. And that's sunshine and roses, Charlemagne, but that's just not how the world works. I'm like, dude, like if you were found responsible for something, as good as an actor you are, and as much as I did like the potential of Kang, it's just, this is a hit to your career. It is what it is. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's one of those things that, you know, because people like to compare it to, well, there's a whole bunch of other actors that have done some really awful things and they're super successful now. Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr.
Well, and a lot of those things happened like 20 years ago.
Yeah, we talk. Yeah,
so you're still talking about something that just happened,
or it's fresher than the other
a year
stuff,
or so ago. Like it's not been that much removed. I mean, you have people. It takes time for people to see that, to be able to say, "Oh yeah, that was a long time ago," and he hasn't shown himself to be like that anymore. That's
right. Yeah, we haven't separated from
Whereas, like, you know, because some people like Chris Brown, I know people has still repeatedly, I don't know about, I'm not talking about recently, but over time, he continued to get in trouble for other anger type things. So I think Jonathan Majors is going to need more time to pass before people say, yeah, that's old news, and he's totally not
redeemed, or exactly. It's not going to happen overnight. You're right. It's gonna take time. I've also heard that Michael B. Jordan also was in an interview, or was quoted by saying that if he does another Creed movie, he would want Jonathan Majors, but that was before the audio leak thing came out. And the fact that, and so speaking about the different coverages, and I'll compare like what one outlet is saying versus the other. Like the fact that Rolling Stones that was a complete on purpose, like. That audio, if I remember correctly, that audio is not new. That was released. I remember hearing that audio.
And he also got first married this week or something too.
Yeah, I mean, him and Megan. Yeah, that was the other thing. That leads me to the next thing. So thanks for reminding me to move. Reminding me to move on E! News, as far as like the comparison of like what Charlemagne the God said versus like, here's something from E! News reported on the topic focusing on the relationship with Megan Good, saying in the time since Jonathan Majors' legal troubles, he and actress Megan Good found love, confirming that they privately got married earlier this year. I on social media said, like, people were like, I give it a week, or I give it a month, or 6 months, or a year before they get divorced. I say it depends on what they talked about when they first started dating.
I feel like, again, you need to give it time, because us seeing it right now, we're looking at it going,
I give it a year.
Well, this was for his rep, because we all know that he's very
popular.
No, like, she's been known for the past quite a bit about being very godly. I think her ex-husband and her were very like, no sex before marriage. Like, they were very religious. So I feel like when we first saw them get together, we were like, this is totally for an image.
It was good for his image, yeah.
Now, obviously, again, as time goes on, if they stay married and he does well, then people will be like, she probably changed his life.
Yeah. Like, or he had a come to Jesus moment, and that's why he got with Megan. Like Lil Wayne said, I'm so fucking good, like I'm sleeping with Megan. But I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's an arranged thing. I mean, people, like I said, it depends on what they discuss beforehand. And if he was like honest or something, and with himself, or if that's the line that she's not willing to, that's the line that she is willing to cross, that's her problem, right? She can, if he was all like, that is the very first time, or I've never done that before, all right. Then if any other things pop up, I'm sure if any of the other, because there are other accusations out there, have any credibility, I'm sure she'll rethink some things. I'm not saying that that their relationship is good or bad or not, but Another, into comparison to the Rolling Stones coverage, People magazine focused mainly on the allegations, quoting Majors in the title of their coverage, saying, "I aggress you." They focused directly only on that. That was in their headline, the "I aggress you," and then they ended the report telling people where you can call if you're a victim of DV. And if you are a victim of DV, you can call the hotline. Is at 1-800-799-7233, or go to thehotline.org. I want to throw that in there just because, we are not pro DV, but that was the difference between the covers. Of like Rolling Stones, they released the audio right or reminded people of that audio right before the debut of his movie, Magazine Dreams, which was getting a lot of independent, like, critical claims about the acting. There's people on TikTok were saying that, who saw it, said, this was a great film. Some people liked it, some people didn't. But mostly I saw was good coverage. Charlamagne Tha God saying, that everybody deserves to be redeemed. So in comparison, there's a lot of different ways this is being covered. But the amount of money that is projected to make this week was how much? $1 million. Just about $1 million. That's about it. Just $1 million. And for an independent film, I'm not going to call it what was the box office? I believe that I saw that the production was like $8 million or something like that, maybe $4 million. I don't know. I don't think it was that expensive, but either way, shape, or form, to have a $1 million open, it was a bad week for movies. And we're going to get into that when we talk about Snow White. I see you guys are voting. I post the question, will you go see the Snow White movie, in the chat? So vote on that, and let's keep talking about
it cost that. $10 million to produce.
It was wow. So it only made 10% after 10% of its budget. Oh, wow. $10 million to produce, only made $1 million in the box office. And then 9 times out of 10 movies, usually, unless the word of mouth is great, usually there's a 50% drop from week 1 to week 2. So it's probably expected to do like less than 500,000 next week. Probably not going to stay in theaters for too long. I would advise them to keep it in theaters as long as possible, but that costs money too. So if it's not making money, it's just all it's doing is it's a liability. So it's probably going to come to streaming real soon. It'll be on Netflix in like 3 weeks, in my opinion. So let us know what you guys think. Will you go see Magazine Dreams? What do you think about this whole dreams deferred? A dream deferred is a dream denied. And let's keep talking, guys. All right, moving on. Next, I was going to talk about some other peace, and be good. Thank you guys for watching our video. I really do appreciate it. Remember, you can support our show by becoming a member or a Patreon. So click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you'll never miss out on when we go live or post new content. Let's stay connected, grow this community together. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's keep talking.